You're listening to the Makerlog podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be interviewing one of my mentors and idols, Sergio Mattei. Welcome. Thanks for joining me on the show today. Do you want to introduce yourself, Sergio?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Sergio Mattei. I'm the founder of Makerlog, which is a community of over 7,000 software developers and makers building great things together. And I'm really happy to be on this episode.
It's awesome. All right. So I want to say I had the pleasure to have you on the show today. I've been on Makerlog for 2 years, and I've enjoyed every aspect of the community, and it helped me make it rocket. It's the only reason I own Make It Rocket, and I think without Make It Rocket, I don't think our Make It Rocket would even be existing. So I want to thank you for that first of all,
I'm
and
really happy to hear that.
I'm excited to finally have this interview. It's been oh it's gonna be a wonderful experience. Okay, so I want to know more about Makerlog. Can you tell me more about what Makerlog's mission is?
Right. So Makerlog basically started a lot. I think the best way to discuss the mission of Makerlog is by going on to how it started, right? So
Yeah.
um, I'm going to take you back to 2017. I was in high school. I was finishing high school. And in a nutshell, I kind of felt I was coming right off from a big Microsoft competition that I managed to enter with this project called Tailship. And I kind of had no idea what to do next, right? So I had been a maker all my entire life. I didn't quite identify as a maker because I didn't know the maker concept itself existed. I didn't know there was a community of people who did this. I grew up in a town in Puerto Rico que se llama Caguas, in Puerto Rico, called Caguas. And excuse my Spanglish. And I didn't really, I've never known a startup community ever since I was a kid. I had been in web development communities, but nowhere that I would find that people who enjoyed the same things that I did, which was the intersection between software development and business.
Yeah,
So
right. So I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Continue.
no worries, man. So in a nutshell, I was coming off this, I was really bored, and I was like, what do I do next? So one day I was just browsing on Product Hunt, and I saw this product by a maker called Peter Levels. Big fan of Peter Levels. He's a big influencer in the maker community. Right. So I see a launch from him on Product Hunt, and I kind of start, looking into his profile because it was a really interesting launch. I go to his Twitter, and I find something about a maker community, right? And that's basically how I discovered that the maker community was a thing. I visited a couple of communities around, and I was like, wow, all right, so makers are a thing. I over time I found this Slack chat called the Maker's Kitchen, which was a Slack chat that was around back in the day.
I
So I
remember that.
joined.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right.
remember that. Yeah, I remember that. It was nice. It was like a small
It,
community, well, not somewhat small, and it was nice.
it was
I
really
never,
nice.
yeah, I never got on it, but when I found out about it, it was like gone. So sadly, yeah, you were saying. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Continue.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And you're completely right. It was a really cool, tiny piece of the internet on Slack. There were a lot of interesting people there. I remember Ethan, the maker of One Feed, also known as Bully Goosh. He was on there. That's how I met Ethan long time ago. That's how I met Dinuka, which is also a product of founder. He's a founder of a startup right now as well. Lots of people from the community that are the old timers of the maker community. So I entered that chat, and I started meeting people, and that's how I discovered the maker community. That's where Makerlog started. So in a nutshell, it's always been about this. Makerlog has always been about finding your place, wherever that place is. For me, finding my place on the internet was finding people who care about the same things that I did, which was software development, business entrepreneurship, creation as a whole. And in a way, that kind of just resonates really well in the mission of Makerlog itself. Um, it's all about creation. It's all about connecting people who create awesome things online and helping them make the most out of their efforts. So uh, yeah, I would say that the mission of Makerlog itself kind of resonates a lot with how it was founded, which is all about finding where you belong and helping connect creators
That
and helping them
that is
find where
an
they belong.
that is an amazing story. I think the way I found a maker community was that I found it through Kurt. Uh, I think a lot of people don't know Kurt now. He
Through
isn't
what?
as active as he was before. So basically, the story is that I was on Twitter one day and I was bored, and I've actually known. Do you know a platform called Scratch?
Scratch from MIT, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I carried on that for a really long time, and he was really like huge on that platform as well. Like when I say huge, I mean like, he was like one of the popular accounts, and I known him since there. And then I knew the Twitter account, and I was interested about learning to code. And so many people make the switch, and I know so many people from scratch like made the switch. And basically, Kerr tweeted on his Twitter one day about his Makerlog account, and that same day I joined and I made an account. And I think that's how I met the Maker community. I didn't know that there was anyone there. I thought, hey, maybe there's no one on Twitter. Maybe it's just an empty circle. I never knew that there was a community. And I think the first encounter I had with you was an awkward conversation, if you remember. I think it was about, do you remember?
I don't remember, but most likely.
It was very awkward. Do you remember something called praise?
Yeah, praise is how you like people on Makerlog. Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember the idea I have for a product called praise?
Oh yeah, you're making a product called Praise. Yeah, and I think that was what. Yeah, that was one of the first interactions.
I felt so awkward after that. I don't know
Don't
the
worry,
message.
man.
I was like, oh, okay, why don't I just ask this person? And I think that's how my first encounter with the Maker community is. Makerlog is an excellent platform. I want to say kudos for making it. It's like it's really generated like a whole new wave of makers online. And how is how is it? What was the process of building Makerlog?
The process of building Makerlog is was actually very interesting. Um, it's something I don't want to encourage. So disclaimer: people who are listening, don't do this.
This is a
Um,
public service announcement. Listen to him.
listen to, don't do this. I was basically um, I was learning React, and I was bored in class. So you can guess how those things match together. I was skipping class to make Makerlog. Don't do this. I was
I
skipping
think
class
that's
to make
me.
Makerlog.
I feel like that's what I do sometimes when I get really, especially in French class. I get bored in French class. But believe
Oh
me,
no,
French is boring.
I do not endorse this. But but hey, it worked for me. I was just really bored. My teachers kind of understood what I was doing. They were like, "Hey, he's not doing anything like."
Okay, I'm sorry for that.
Sure.
Okay, sorry. It's back now.
Oh, wait, you had paused the recording?
Yeah, I unpaused it
Uh,
now.
okay, do we start over the answer?
Yeah, I'm so sorry for that.
No worries. Don't worry about it. So yeah, question again?
It was what was the process of building Makerlog?
Right. So the process of building Makerlog was actually very interesting. It's something that I want to give a bit of a disclaimer here. Disclaimer: don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do what I'm about to say. But Makerlog was basically built with me skipping class in high school. Through in the middle of class when the professors are like giving the lessons, um, I was just in my computer in the back of the class, just coding away, learning React JS. So yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Not cool. For me, it worked somehow, but not a thing I want to promote here.
Oh, that's all. I'm so sorry. Uh, okay.
Don't worry.
Well, I'm sorry. Okay, so when you build Makerlog, like how did you get started and like started telling people the word? Like, oh, I created this platform called Makerlog. Do you want to join it?
Right. So this actually ties in together a lot with the spirit of building in public because MakerLog at first was basically built in public. Um, MakerLog started in the maker's kitchen, right? So I was in the maker's kitchen, and the push for kind of getting people on MakerLog, it wasn't really a push; it just happened naturally. was that I basically set my Slack status. You know when you're chatting on Slack, there's a status that shows
Now
there that shows kind of,
you can customize. Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
know.
you can customize it. So I wrote there working on getmakerlog.com and I placed the Makerlog emoji as the logo. And that alone started getting people interested in the project. People started visiting the project, asking, "Hey, what's getmakerlog.com?" And that's basically how the first initial users started getting into the platform. It was all very rudimentary. It was all very built in public. It was all very direct as well. I would contact people who would try it. I would give beta accounts as well to people. So it was just very natural, very progressive.
And now that it seems that average, yeah, we see if you see Makerlog now, it's so different from when I first joined as well. It's more. I feel like Makerlog has inspired not only me, yet so many more makers to make, build, and launch, and just create more experiences for themselves. It's a beauty to see all the products on Makerlog. From what do you have you ever have what's your favorite product you see on Makerlog, or like the funniest thing you ever seen
Uh,
people on your platform?
I would say that my favorite part of Makerlog is, this is gonna sound very cliche, but the community itself. It's such a special group of people who really care deeply about creation. It's a very special group of people from all over the world that care so deeply about their making, about helping others, about serving a community of people that are like-minded. So I would say that my favorite thing about Makerlog is the people. I've met some amazing people. I've had amazing conversations. I've had the best mentorship, the best people helping me on things, and it's a community that's really focused on service, and it's the most beautiful thing there is.
And I think that's really nice. Like I can think for my own self as well. I keep on thinking for myself, yet though I think if other people hear as well, sadly, I think they'll say the same thing. The conversation I make on the Telegram and Slack are just it's so fun to talk to people and make a community. And it feels what you've done. I keep on complimenting. I'm so sorry, but it really I can go for hours because the way you make a lot is amazing. And this question I had in mind for a while is how did you build the Microlab community? A lot of people when they start building businesses or blogs, the community is an important part. It's also really difficult to build a community. How did you build that community for Microlog?
I think it all came from. I know that this is kind of a cliche thing as well to say. A lot of people say it, but I think it all really came from a place of passion, from deeply caring about the community, about the problem that Makerlog solves, and uh, the community that Makerlog is for. And I think that's one of the most important things. If you care deeply about a problem, if you care deeply about a topic or a community, or something you do, anything, building a community is relatively easy. It just it no, I wouldn't say easy. It's not easy. It's natural. It flows naturally. It feels like um, you're retweeting maker achievements, for example. When a maker achieves something, that's really fun to retweet. That's really fun to expose, simply because it's really awesome to see the community grow and prosper. It's something that you really care about, and that's how Makerlog was built. Makerlog was built by just caring deeply about everybody in the community, by retweeting those achievements, by helping people out, by service, through the spirit of service. Um, and I also think that that really reflected very well in the community culture. And that's something that's very underrated as well and very important. That something that was kind of cool about Makerlog is that since it started with a spirit of service, it started with a spirit of passion towards creation. The community of the culture of the community reflects that very well. It's deeply ingrained within the culture of the community and how people interact between each other. So it's I would say passion, caring about makers, and uh, caring about the problem is what makes a solid community and a solid cultural background for a community.
I think that's really interesting since I've seen the Microlog community grow so much in the past 2 years, and not by years I mean 2 years, and I feel the I think the best part that people make more natural, and is that the way you are, the way that Makerlog is on Twitter. I think Twitter is one of the ways that Makerlog is really different than other communities and other projects, since it just makes the way it thing be retweeted, and I think that's what makes I think that what makes Makerlog special is that the way that you're on to you engage with your audience and you actually treat your audience as humans. I think that's the best part about the Mikola community and then other communities online.
That's a big part of the company culture as well that I try to push, especially with my co-founder. I am always very human slash vulnerability slash transparency first. I care about honesty and being direct to our users because I think that's the most important, valuable thing there is. We live in a world of we live in a world of BS. So honesty, and people who are vulnerable online are such an important thing. That's something I always try to push in the maker community per se. If there's a competitive advantage you can absolutely grab onto, it's just being a human on the internet because people are very afraid of vulnerability.
And
And if you can nail that, if you can become vulnerable and expose yourself even during the difficult moments, that's very valuable.
that's that's an amazing that's an amazing response. I really give it like today's internet is so mainstreamed and there's so many different politics and I don't want to talk about it on the podcast. So there's so many everything going on. I think make fog is all it's just it feels like a safe zone. Like you can I think that's you need to actually be with your community and not be like that. And I think that's what made me look so special. I'm sorry, I forgot a word. I can't remember a single word though.
No worries about
And,
it, man.
and
Totally
so
fine.
I wanna ask you a few free form questions before I go back to the make vlog question. So, what is your favorite drink?
My favorite drink. This is an easy question for anybody who knows me on Twitter. Water. Drink water. Water is awesome.
I was gonna guess you're gonna say that. I was just waiting for you to say that. All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee or tea? Honestly, I've tried to get into tea, but so far the tea that I've tried is basically the kind of regular Lipton tea that you can buy in stores. Funnily enough, I was having a conversation with a community member called Alex Hayworth. Shout out to Alex about this the other day. He's a bit of a tea expert, and he's like, "Hey, if you need some tea advice, hit me up." And he
Oh,
DM'd me with a bunch of tea recommendations from like really high quality leaves and whatnot. And I was like, wow, I'm finally gonna get into tea. But the answer to that question is coffee. I
I'm
like black
gonna
coffee.
I'm gonna give you recommendations. So I love tea. Tea is one of my favorite. I'm not an expert, but I really love tea. And one of my favorite tea is jasmine green tea. It's this tea made of jasmine leaf, and
I'm gonna take notes here.
I'm gonna give you
Uh,
that. It's from a company called David's Tea. David's Tea. It's a really nice company. I don't know if it's shipped to Puerto Rico, but they should have. But I'm pretty sure you can find it somewhere in Puerto Rico. It's
does it does it have caffeine?
some of them do and some of them don't.
All right.
They have choices.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a tea noob here. Uh, but it's something interesting because I was just discussing about this with Alex as well. I'm kind
Yeah.
of looking into replacing my coffee intake with some sort of tea, just for the sake of doing it. Um, I like the caffeine boost, and I've heard some teas have something called L-theanine, which helps
Yeah.
calm you down. So it's kind of an interesting combo that I want to
If you
try
want,
out.
if you want to, like, I would recommend herbal teas. There's something like that. I'm just gonna leave in the chat as well. I'm gonna see if I can find it. So I'm gonna link. You can do this after the recording. Though it's the website I'm telling you about, and it's I just put the link for jasmine tea. So if you go there, you'll see what it is. It's so yeah.
Ooh, that's awesome. Looks great.
Yeah. I recently bought a
Really
whole crate.
aesthetically appealing website as well.
Yeah,
Looks
it's
really
a
nice.
beautiful website. It's a Canadian company, so nor they ship to other countries. It's just I actually recently bought a whole crate of tea from them. So interesting enough, it's really nice. They have a huge array, and I feel like they're sponsoring this company, but I'm really not.
I I think I want to get a sampler of sorts because I'm kind of new to it. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll buy some sort of samplers.
yeah. Let me know how you what it is. So let me know what you think about it.
For sure. I've been
Yeah.
wanting to get into tea for so long, so definitely getting some sort of sampler to be able to try out a lot of teas at home. Because there's something that I really like. There's a big tea community. A lot of
Hmm.
people who see tea as a bit of an art form, and it's such an interesting thing that I kind of want to get into because I like that kind of thing. I'm really into liking things as an art form. For example, lots of people there's a vinyl community on for music lovers, right? There's people
Hmm.
who
Yeah.
really see vinyl as an art form, and it's such a great appeal as a bit of a hobby that I've been wanting to get into tea, for example, for so long.
Yeah. All right. I think that's enough about tea for now. Since I would love to
Noted.
chat more about tea. I just feel bad at times. So I know you haven't shared much about cabin, and it's still an early stage. So can you give us like a one line description or a few sentences about what it is without breaking much about information about it?
I suggest you edit this out
I will.
because Cabin has basically been canceled the other day.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
that's sad.
Yeah. You know what? I will explain to you like personally, as long as this is not on the podcast. So
Yeah, I'll edit.
what I'm about to
I'll,
say, just edit it out. But yeah. So what happened was that I got really frustrated because I felt like we were really stressed out, both of us, my co-founder and me. We were really stressed out. We were worrying too much about this potential client because Cabin, in a nutshell, Cabin was going to be um, a local social network for the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Puerto Rico. And we were right. So we were lining up partnerships. We already had some partnerships lined up with local accelerators, local startup accelerators, big startup accelerators. We're talking the biggest one in the Caribbean. Um, but eventually, we figured out that. Well, I figured out. I vetoed the project. I wrote a long letter to why it's a bad idea to do this. Um, I vetoed the project, and that's not happening. Sadly, great branding though, but it's not happening because a couple of reasons. I want to focus on Makerlog. I want to focus on creating great content, on growing our community. I think Makerlog has a lot more potential to become a bigger company than it is right now. We're going to raise capital later this year. We're going to raise a seed round, and
ooh, that's gonna be fun.
that's going to be very fun. So I think it came down to focus. I really wanted to focus on a thing and do it right. I felt like for the longest time, our focus has been really distributed among so many things that it's about time that we just shut up and sit down and do what needs to be done and focus on one thing, on one project, and growing one project and doing it right. So we're all in on Makerlog now, and no more side projects. I sort of side projects.
That's my story. If you see my if I'm have you seen my make left profile in a while? I'm gonna put the recording back here now. Have you, so basically I'm just gonna have I just put it in the chat so it's easier for you to click the link if they're searching for it. Uh I have so many side projects that a lot of sites that I've never completed, and I think I feel bad though for the record Meat Club has. But every 2 months, I make a huge list of products and I keep on deleting them. Uh, so I started writing a story and I never finished that. I started uh a Chrome web store alternative and I never finished that. I started I started a website to help. Do you remember Simple Fee?
Yes, yes, I remember. It was a Chrome extension, right?
No, that was the first version of it. And then the second version was
Right.
a news website that blocked out politics. So I spent time on that, but then I learned that nobody wanted to have another news website. So there's so many products I never completed. I think Makerlog it helped me it make me feel to make so many products that I never completed them. So I think that's fine. I think I spend lots of time on Maker's World and Maker's Rocket. They're both the same thing, just separated because I can't have I couldn't merge the two tasks together. Though I think Maker's World and Maker's Rocket has really shown to myself that I can make something that people will love eventually, and Maker Rocket has been growing a recently. So I'm just trying to think. mm, this is a bit off topic. I feel bad asking this podcast though. What do you think? Do you think this will audience for Maker Rocket?
Wait, I want to react a little bit to what you were saying about Maker's Record and not finishing projects. Don't beat yourself up over it. If there's something that I am the master of not finishing shit. I'm the master of not finishing anything. I have had a lot of side projects that I've never finished. You can check my Makerlog profile. There's Cabin, there's Inkston, there's Cowork. Cowork was finished. Cowork was shit. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, well,
There's
I
Ink
look
Feed.
forward. It was an interesting idea. It didn't ban. Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
If you want an interesting bit of content, I can tell you I've done a lot of retrospective analysis to why Cowork failed, and I can tell you there's a couple of reasons why it failed. This is going to be kind of interesting to talk about because I haven't talked about this in quite a while. But there's a couple of reasons to why it failed. First of all, it was a bit of a solution in search of a problem. It was one of those ideas that looked really good on paper. You're like, wow, this is a great idea. Then you build it and you realize this is not that great. This is not that great. The other reason was it was my first time building a B2B project, right? So it wasn't consumer oriented, it was business to business, but I've only done business to consumer ever before in my life. So it's my first time. And I had the targeting wrong. Like I was, for example, the landing page it was not targeting stakeholders. It was accepting customers straight up. Like it was just a total miscalculation on how to market and target a product. Uh, and I gained a lot of wisdom from that. So I really cherish the experience. I also went through a customer discovery boot camp with Cowork. So that was a really interesting experience that changed my life. Like I can tell you, it changed my life. So even though it was kind of a complicated time and I had no idea what I was doing, I really cherish the experience because in retrospect, I've learned so lot and evolved so much as an entrepreneur, not just a maker, an entrepreneur from that experience. And I know that's kind of the stereotypical thing to say, I learned a lot, but I really did learn a lot.
Yeah, I think Cabin was an interesting idea. So on the point of side project, what we're talking about on paper, this case. So I'm gonna show you quickly for you. This entire wait, no, I have to grab my camera filter off. Give me a second. I'm so sorry.
Sure.
Gotta turn the virtual background off so you can actually see this. Uh where's my here we go.
Oh, if you see me looking around a lot, I have TweetDeck open like right here.
Yeah, so this entire stack of paper is product ideas. I'm
Holy
not joking.
crap.
Yeah.
You
When I'm
you've done a way better job documenting than I have, so kudos to you.
no, trust me. You just small but like website landing page designs, and then there's a list of micro stickers. So basically, this company contacted me a while back, and it's a direct competitor to Sticker Mule, and they tried to give me oh like so many stickers. I still have these. So if anyone wants some micro stickers, please let me know. I have lots of them. I really want to get rid of them. So
Send some my way, man. Send some my way. I'm gonna rep them.
yeah, just send me your address and I'll send you the stickers by next
Oh
week.
yeah, hell yeah, I'm down. All right, but yeah, you've done a way better job documenting your ideas than I have.
So
I have a Trello board that I never update, and I get great ideas all the time. I just forget to add them.
what happens when I'm really tired in the night and I have this problem, I can't sleep. So I get my paper and I start writing product ideas. So most of these ideas are actually really nice. One of them is called Biz Spaces. It's not like so it reminds me of One Fee, but it's really not. So you know how there's a huge audience for retro content? Like Spaces proved that and has shown that people still want retro audiences. So the idea is that you can create your own space for everything you love, like retro content. So they could be like tweets, videos, pictures. It's like Pinterest. Yeah, you can keep retro content. And I wanted to build it, though. I don't. The first problem is I don't think anyone will even enjoy the platform. It's a nice idea on paper, though. When you actually think about it, there's already ways for people can build that own version themselves. So
Hey
honestly, there's
man,
not really a space for that product.
if I'm gonna tell you a piece of advice that I've learned with Makerlog, I would say just build it. It sounds a little odd, but hey, you won't really know if people really want it until you build it and you start kind of like getting it out there. So highly suggest just start shipping it. Maybe it really gets an audience because a lot of people are looking. Part of the big appeal of one feed, shouting out a bully gush here, shouting out Ethan, you're awesome, uh, is the fact that people are looking to reduce noise on the internet, right? So this is actually also part of why Makerlog is kind of a thing nowadays and why digital communities are sprouting back because the main social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, name the rest, they're all really noisy nowadays. There's so much noise. There's so much outrage, so many politics, so much controversy that people are looking for an out. They're looking for spaces where they can interact and not be stressed out by the aggregate of everything. So you would be surprised that shipping a product that helps people reduce noise is such an incredible thing, and people are doing it all over the internet now with digital and private communities, for example. So ship it. You might be surprised. Uh, People are really looking to reduce noise online lately.
I sent you a message. You want to check it out? The thing is that the recording might end while we're middle of conversation, and I don't want it to happen. So if it does, I will send you a meet link, not on this platform. So if you want, so I because I really want to talk about one more thing before the recording ends. And the thing is that I actually started this recording way before you joined, sadly. So yeah, okay. I think you're right about the point that you want to make noise on the internet. And the problem that I want to make with Bish is that it's a wonderful idea. I don't know how to build a social platform or an art or how to get content on RSS feed. And I think I want to learn, but just learning is so annoying. I can't find the proper resources, and then I just want to. I the main reason I like why I stopped. I didn't build uh simple views. I didn't know how to use APIs back then, and I still don't know. That's a problem. I can't find a proper resource to learn how to code like APIs or like that. So I think that was made me not build. If it's because if I knew how to use APIs and all, I think Mr. Simple Feed would be like ready by now. It would be like problem my main product, and that's the problem with I think that's the block that the learning block. There's not enough resources, and I think that's what really make it rocket. I want to give resources to people that want to learn to build their own businesses or learn how to code, and I think that's the experience about Make It Rocket, and I think there's a huge audience for that.
If if you want a bit of a piece of advice into learning how to code, there's something that I always rep. I'm a This is a bit of a personal thing, but personally, I think first of all, I think learning is really personal, so it's kind of hard for people to give blanket statements of advice. So I'm not going to try to give any blanket statements, but I'm a person that learns a lot via doing. In fact, I have an example of a problem that happens often. Say I'm in math class. I'm in math class, and the professor is talking about lots of theory and lots of theorems and how things go and the abstract bits of it. I will be staring there for an hour and I will not get it. But when the professor gets their hands on, when they start actually
Yeah.
using everything and putting it all together, bringing all that theory together, that's when it all clicks. That's when it all
And I
clicks
think,
for me.
yeah, I think that's much better. Like when you, I think that's why Scrimba does so well. Have you heard of Scrimba?
Uh, Wait, what?
Scrimba, the coding platform.
No, I have not heard of it.
Wait, really?
No.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Oh,
give you a link
there we
then.
go.
Oh, there you go. It's like okay, so it lets you do hands-on coding lessons. So there'll be someone speaking with a code editor, and you can end the recording while the person is talking, and then you can do the challenges, you can learn, and that's why Scrimba done so well. It's about that. It's hands-on coding. That's the whole idea of Scrimba.
That's awesome. Have you tried Data Camp as well? Data
No,
Camp and I think Code Academy. Oh, right. So where I was going with this is if you learn by doing, the best thing you can possibly do is to get started. It sounds a little odd, but the way I learned to code, the way I learned to code, and this was way back when I was in middle school and earlier in school, the way I learned to code was I would just get started making things. Then I kind of wanted to improve something, right? So I wanted to do one specific thing and I didn't know how to do this specific thing. Say I don't know how to add login to a page. I would Google how to add login to a page. And over time, you acquire this breadth of knowledge by just actually doing things and seeing the problems you face as you go. Say, while I'm building a login page, I want to know how to style a button better or how to make the button animate. I would Google the CSS for animating a button. And over time, progressively, you start building that knowledge. And so for people that learn by doing, or for the audience of this podcast, if you learn by doing, the best thing you can do is start and figure out the way. It's scary, it's very scary, but it's the best thing you can possibly do.
I think that's an interesting conversation. And I think you're right. The best way is to learn, and I've done it as well. And I think that from many people start out in the hacker space. But what's the first product you made in indie hacker space? Like, how did you start as an indie hacker?
My start as an indie hacker, well, this kind of goes way back. As a maker, before I was a maker per se, before I identified as a maker, but I was kind of a maker. I would make websites, right? So there was this website on webs.com that I made, which was a forum. I would make forums. So I've always kind of been into communities. I would make forums. I would make social networks. Um, it's always kind of been connected. I've always been in that space. But the first product I made in the indie hacker space, in the indie maker space as well, where I was already in the community, was just Makerlog. It was the first thing I made in the community. Actually, if you want to see my first website ever, it's still up.
I remember this. You shared it with the Makerlog in Telegram.
I
Oh, you
sent it in the
did.
chat.
Thank you.
It's I made this in elementary school when I was in fourth grade.
Wait, really? When I
Yeah.
was in fourth grade, I think I was using Bebly, and oh wow, this is amazing. Wow.
Wait. Okay. So I wrote this when I was 10 years old because you can see the blog posts. 2010. So 10 years old. What grade is that?
You be in fifth grade.
Fifth grade. So I was in fifth grade. When I made this, I was in fifth grade. So I was just making a thing using a website builder, customizing it, playing around with the CSS and services that were online. So this was my start. I'm surprised it's still up. I don't know how they still have it up. Honestly, I don't know how they have not deleted it.
I think
But
Webs.com is one of the oldest web builders. It's way before Wix and way before Bebly. One of the
way before
oldest.
Wix.
Yeah.
By the time that Wix got started, I remember Wix was a Flash. It was the big appeal of Wix was that it was a Flash web builder, and that
Hmm.
that came a lot after Webs. So
Okay, so this is. I was gonna ask you a question, but so I'm actually gonna. I feel. Yeah, I think my first website was also. I started out not on Webs. I never really because when I started out on Webly, and I would create these small websites for my. I would create these small websites for my. Okay, I'm so worried I'm gonna say this and then the recording is gonna end and then there's gonna be a blank spot. I'm so nervous. Give me a second. I'm so
don't
sorry.
worry about it.
I'm gonna
Um,
send
I
you another link.
I
So
have to get going in like 10 minutes.
yes, I know. So I'm only gonna have this like 5 minutes since this recording is about to end. I just want to say one more sentence before the recording
All
ends.
right, excellent, super.
So it's a meeting link and then so basically I'm gonna say this. Okay, I'm gonna try and say this in the next 30 seconds. So this recording doesn't end. I started
Right.
out building small websites for my robotics company, right? And I loved it. I think that's where it started. I would have so much I had so much fun talking to you today. And like near the end, I only get nervous because I don't want the recording to end mid conversation. So Thanks for having me on the show today. It was so much fun, and I can't wait to talking to you in the future and having this article be published. And yeah, I'm gonna send you the recording before it's done. And yeah, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. Let's take a quick picture for Twitter. I'm about to tweet this. So, quick picture for Twitter. Wait. Oh, I forgot the screenshot.
I got it. I got one.
Awesome. All right. So, really excited to hear this episode. I think it went really well. You did a great job hosting. So, thank you so much for having me. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where Maker's Rocket goes. I'll be sending you my address as well, so you can send me those stickers, and I'll be happy to put them on my laptop.
Thanks so much. Okay, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.